Hey, here we are, John Macaskill and soon to be Will Schneider jumping on IG Live again. Back to our roots with Men Talking Mindfulness. Here we are, what we've been doing. We took what was an IG Live and we brought it back on to other platforms, brought it on as LinkedIn Live, brought it on as Facebook Live, YouTube Live, and we turned it into a podcast. And we're super excited to be back to our roots here with IG Live and IGTV, and we're also going to be going into Patreon. I'm going to be bringing up my brother here shortly, Will Schneider. Hopefully he pops up here. Hopefully this works out right. There we are. We're back, man. Back to our roots with IG Live, man. I can't believe we come full circle. So here we are, man. Good to see you, brother. How are you?
Yeah, it's good to be back on IG Live. And this is like probably the last time I did IG Live, John, was the last time I recorded the show on IG Live. So good to be here and, back to our roots.
Yeah,
and,
I tell you, it took me a while to remember how to do IG Live. So yeah, here we are back to our roots, IG Live, Men Talking Mindfulness. So if you've never tuned in, what we have, John Macaskill, I'm a retired Navy SEAL. I live out here in Colorado Springs. And Will, I'll turn it over to you to give a quick intro.
Will Schneider over here in New York City, the bona fide hippie of the show, right in New York City. And, we've created Men Talking Mindfulness from our passion, to be mindfulness, to be more mindful, to bring more mindfulness to more people, because how much it's helped us live happier and healthier and more productive and more successful and more engaged life. And then we turned it into a podcast after this. And,
yeah,
here we are back, and again, back to the roots right now.
Yeah, right. So it's basically our origin story, right? Is how we brought ourselves from IG Live to the podcast. But yeah, so mindfulness, that's what we talk about. That's what we talk about on our podcast, but that's also what we're going to talk about back here on IG Live and eventually on Patreon and some other platforms. But what is mindfulness, Will? What is mindfulness? I'd love to hear your thoughts on that.
Well, I'll just make it. I'll make it personal, John. Mindfulness to me is just a continual way to become more aware of myself, emotionally, physically, mentally, and in the process of being more mindful, it's really helping me get and regain and become more aware of my emotional experience with everything. It's helped me in my relationship to myself. I'm a perpetual and getting better and so much better at it all the time. I'm like beating myself up for falling short of a goal, or, living in the past with regret, or pulling myself into the future with anxiety, and mindfulness and the practice of mindfulness. So it's not just meditation, which is a big part of my everyday life, meditating, but, going out and taking walks. Also, the importance of being more hydrated, the importance of getting in my body and challenging my body to find more strength, to find more resilience, to find more flexibility. And it's just, and then what I feel, the way it's translated into my life, into the show, into our relationship, I'm just more present. I'm more patient. I listen. I'm more thoughtful and emotionally aware of my experience and how I'm bringing myself to the world. And it's just been, and it's been a huge asset to absolutely everything I've done. I mean, especially, I got to say, John, one place that it's really helped me is in my family life, with my parents. I got a couple brothers. I got a big family, and a lot of them, kind of lack some of that emotional awareness and are very easily triggered. And once they get triggered, they're trying to trigger me into pulling them, or pulling me into their conversation, or pulling me into their way of thinking. And, and sometimes I go there and I have fun with that. But just being conscious, do I want to go there, instead of being, sucked right in because I'm in this like reactive based way of being, instead of this responsive and more mindful way of existing.
Right. Yeah. And that's, you hit on something there, emotional awareness, right? Emotional awareness, what so many of us are lacking is emotional awareness. And that's really, if you boil it down to it, if you want to take the word mindfulness out of it, that's all mindfulness is awareness. Awareness of your emotions, awareness of your physical feelings, your sensory awareness, your emotional awareness. And it ties into just about everything that we do in our lives. And it does make everything richer in our lives, which is what we discuss on the show. It makes us more compassionate. So our relationships are deeper. Our relationships are more enjoyable. Our lives are deeper and more enjoyable. I mean, we just did a show on the importance of play and the importance of having fun. And then we did a recap ASAP after that, like a recording of basically a recap of the show. And we just goofed off. Yeah. And I tell you, I'm trying to think the last time I really just goofed off and didn't, I mean, honestly, just didn't give a fuck. And it's been a while. It's been a while. And life has a way, specifically for adults, has a way of getting too serious, right? Adulting, becoming an adult. And we just take things too seriously. And in doing so, we're missing out on so much of life. We're missing out on so much fun, but we're also missing out on relationships. We're missing out on creativity, focus, productivity at work. We're missing out on relationships at work. Yeah. So it's just so great to be doing this with you, and I look forward to this show every week with you. You know, on the live episodes that we do on the other platforms, the podcast that we release every week, and now coming back to IG Live. So can't believe we're back full circle, man.
Yeah, and also, hey, the guests that we had our first New York Times bestseller on with the great book, James Nestor with the book Breath. Like we're trying to, you know, I think it's important to mention as far as like why we do this is like we want to raise the consciousness of other people and not just men. I mean, I know it's men talking mindfulness, but this is for absolutely everybody. And the way we speak of the work is for everybody, regardless of how you identify yourself. But we're really like, we're in our third season right now. We'll be opening our fourth season in January. And I think right now, or I feel, John, where our show is, we're just creating a foundation of emotional awareness, of physical awareness, of how we can, again, I know that James, that breathe better, how we can eat better. We have an episode coming up on breaking up with sugar, which is so difficult for people. Emotional awareness, we talk about emotional intelligence. So, you know, and we always keep coming back to, what are the three things we always come back to, John, in our show? Somehow,
compassion and the endorphins, the empathy, vulnerability. And all the hormones that are released in practicing mindfulness, in practicing compassion, in having fun. I think basically you could change the name of the show to Men Talking About Vulnerability, Compassion, and various
empathy or
so. Yeah, brother. Well, this is fun, man, and I'm excited to see coming back to IG and where we're going to be going from here. But yeah, would love to hear from you guys, the audience who watches live or tunes in later, if it's on IGTV, if it's on Patreon, if it's on YouTube, if it's on LinkedIn, wherever it is you tune into the show, or you just tune into these short little snippets with me and Will just being goofballs. We'd love to hear from you. So, brother, it's been fun. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you soon.
Thanks, John. Hey, one last thing. Hey, help us grow the show.
Yes,
invite people, definitely. Send it to people, take a screenshot, let people know what you're doing. Like, it's like, we're not here to become more popular. We're come from this place of being servant leaders.
Service.
Right. We're here to serve and you in order to, and like, let us know what kind of topics you'd like to hear about or things that you're struggling with. And then we can turn that into a show or bring an expert on. Again, we love this platform and we grow this platform because of you, right? And also your engagement with us. So thanks again, John. And everyone out there that's listening, peace.
Peace.